Welcome to DualBrickcity, everyone, and this is finally it. This is the episode where a lot of people have always asked me over the last few years, especially on Instagram, why is my city how it is? Why is it divided? Why do I have Star Wars mixed into it and a few other themes? I have a little bit Lord of the Rings, a little bit Marvel, and not just city. One of the reasons is I've seen a lot of people doing just a Lego city. I wanted to do mine different. As you can see right back me, I have my clone base integrated into my city here. And throughout my city there's also some more Star Wars mixed, but yet it is still very divided. The reason is when I first started to make this on my Instagram or building my city in general, I wanted to do something different. And back then I loved Star Wars, I still do. And I just wanted to do a little bit of a change in there and mix them both together. So I started putting some of my few Mandalorian figures and my clones together. And I didn't have many bricks, so most of my buildings were more like ruins than actual buildings. So it was more like a battlefield, and that's where I came up with the idea to divide my city. Put the clones with the Republic on one side and the Mandalorians on the other side. And then from there I started building. I will show you in just a moment. And I'll just switch around the camera so it's easier for me to show everything. So I started off with dividing the city right with this river. Throughout the whole 4 years of DualBrickcity, the river has always been there in the middle of my city, or more towards the right now, since my city expanded a lot since then. This way I have like a natural barrier and had my clones on the one side, back then on the battlefield. Now it is the clone base, and it just grew from there. So, and the reason or the story that I built up over the years is I have the Mandalorians on one side, originally with Earth, so that's why I have some of the Iowa National Guard, some US Marines, the Abraham tanks with the Mandalorians together, because Mandalorians are helping Earth defending themselves from the clones, because we do not want to join the Republic and their war, how it is in the Star Wars franchise, against the clowns versus the droids. And that's where I went also was from. And it turned more into a Cold War over the years. That's why I got my war inspiration, like here from my accent. I'm German originally, living in the States now. And I built a city, built a wall, reference to the Berlin Wall, and then built my clone base behind it. And over the years I built my mountain. I kept the mountain now for about 2 years with the clone base inside. I just thought it was an awesome idea. I love building mountains since I have a few, and over the years I had a few different ones, and they're becoming better and better. They're modular, they're open, like the one in the back here is open. And then this mountain over here, the small spice mine, also Star Wars reference from Solo. As you will notice throughout the video, I have a lot of themes or different eras mixed into it as well. It is mainly focused on the Bad Batch era, so the transformation from Republic to Empire. This allows me already to mix in a lot of Empire with the Republic, have some few figures that would usually not been seen in the Clone Wars. But also having, for example, Han Solo here. We got the Mandalorian Embassy, my custom build, or my mock. That's heavily defended. But also things like, we got the Rebels here. We have Luke here. We have Mos Eisley Cantina, which is my little Tatooine in the city. And my new light tower. I just built that yesterday. But I just mix in, and sometimes it's just fun to do some mixes, like using the jazz club and putting the Cantina band in there instead of having them at the Mos Eisley Cantina. Putting those carbonite frozen people with the police station, or having Padme Amidala in a dress by the hotel. One of my favorite scenes, and I think a lot of people's it is, seeing Mace Windu flying out of the window. But I also have a few references to Marvel here, or Lord of the Rings. And that's where I wanted to go with. And originally I built a little bit of a nature area back here, where my Spice Mountain is. We got the Mandalorians, which are also partially divided. And I just like the idea of keeping it, but also wrap them, work them together. Well, we got Darth Maul right here with his Death Watch. And then Bo-Katan and the Grease clan right over here. And just throughout the years I just like to mix stuff. It makes it different and it's fun. Because if you just have only city, yes, some people looks amazing like Brickcity. His city looks amazing just being a Lego city. But I'm just such a huge Star Wars fan and I just like to mix it. That's simply it. And that's why a lot of people ask, what's the tank? We got Earth here, we got the Mandalorians. And this way with the story I can integrate these things. That's a little bit for the backstory. So let's see how the city is looking now today in July of 2023. So as you all probably already know, my clone base of course. We got my 1st Battalion, the 501st, the 187th, the 212, and then a few of the latest builds. I always try to keep the newest builds in my city. Of course they're always newer ones, sometimes I keep them a little bit longer. But I like to switch them out, so it's not always just the same. And of course I could get the ATTE from 2008 and put it in there, or the old LAT. But I want to keep it always updated, because Lego is also innovating. I like a lot of the new builds more than I like the old ones, because they just look better. And then of course the regular modulars, but also my own mocks are in the city. Like I got a Lego store here that I built from the gift with purchase set that came out a couple years ago. I was able to get 2. I merged them together and added some more bricks. But then I also completely built the Mandalorian embassy. Use some of the sets there, which is also completely modular. All my custom builds are modular because I love the system, even though you barely ever get to see inside. But then I integrate icons like the medieval blacksmith, the A-frame. They're all beautiful builds. But also the botanic garden. I'm planning on getting someday a second one and extending it. But for now I just have it at 1 and my first attempt on the Mills plate. And of course my shame corner. Just plain emptiness, where I'm planning on in the future adding some more things. I'm thinking about adding a second story to my city. So elevating it by maybe a 2-story building, like put a mountain. Or maybe something like how Brickcity has it with the walls there. And then I also think over here in my little Tatooine, as some of you have seen it, the update for it a few weeks ago, I might change that as well. I want to shift this over to this corner here, push this all further in the back, and then maybe put a harbor in it so I can also integrate the new city line with the Arctic ship and have a bigger harbor, because right now all that I have is this little pier here where the boat goes to the light tower. And then of course, as I mentioned earlier, loving to integrate all these small little fun gifts, like having Mandalorians, having all Star Wars mixed in, like having someone here, or using some custom tiles and just making a commercial here, like for Java Juice. Building small little subway stations. Maybe I'm gonna build someday an underground train station. And just having it all mixed together. See in the back here. And I just love the idea of it. A lot of it, some people don't like it, that how militarized my city is. But this is why. Because my city has a Cold War going on. And just having the view of the big clone trooper armies here. This way I'm also able to do army building. I'm able to buy MOCs, and I don't have to decide like what I'm gonna build. Am I gonna build just a Star Wars MOC and just purely Star Wars, or am I gonna build a city and I always have to put one of the two on the shelves? No one likes it. Lego is very expensive, especially if you have to work very hard for the money so you can buy all this. So this is why I want to keep it all together. I have a few other things that I have on my shelves, like I have a lot of the old sets. Just like back here. I got my shelves and put the older sets there, those that I'm not able to fit into my city. But I always try to keep it simple. Put everything that I can into the city as much as possible. And even if it's harder to integrate, like for example the A-frame. A lot of people's regular city, they can just put them in the middle of the city block and it looks very odd in the system. Without having a big city, which is also very helpful for me, that my wife is supporting me in having a big city, which I'm very grateful for, that I can expand it so much that I can have so many different climates throughout my city. From the hot beach area and little Tatooine, to city, downtown, all the way to more the mountains, which is usually a little bit more of a colder climate. I used to have also in my old city, like 2.5 years ago, all the way in the far corner, having snow. And maybe I will get to it someday, but for right now my Lego room is too small in the house that we are living. So for the time being, I would just have to go from beach to the mountains. Maybe do a little bit more mix or some greenery, like adding a farm or something. Or depending on if Lego comes up with more better modulars, or I'm able to get the good deals on the buildings of the old ones and integrate those. And someday, I'm not sure if I'm gonna do more of my MOC builds, so let me know in the comments if you want to see more of MOCs, like these two. Or if you want me to do mostly the regular Lego modulars. Or keep it like how it is. Mix it all together. I hope you liked this episode, guys. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to keep seeing the city grow over the next few years. And I hopefully can provide that to you and enjoy making videos, showing you what I have, and maybe inspire someone to do the same as I do. Or maybe you were thinking, hey, I like this set, but I don't know how to do it. And maybe you see how I integrated my city, and then you are starting to add it to yours. So y'all have a good one.